Welcome to 818. Folklore often gets treated like bedtime stories, old wives' tales, or warnings for kids who wander too far into the dark. But across the Celtic nations, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland, there are tales that still strike fear into the hearts of those who remember their ancient roots. Things you don't call out for, things you don't name after sunset, things you don't seek out. Tonight we've got 3 tales from across our ancient isles, and each one comes with a warning. Stay out of the mist, don't touch things that aren't meant for you, and whatever you do, don't look back when you smell the rot on the wind.
The river mist came early that night, sliding over the valley in long white fingers. Emrys had seen mist like it before, but never this thick, never this alive. It curled around the sheep pens, clung to the edges, and muffled the crunch of his boots as he made his way toward the footbridge. He muttered to himself as he walked. Should have left the sheep to wander for one night, Mam will have my head. But even his own voice sounded strange, swallowed by the fog. Halfway across the bridge he paused. The river beneath, usually loud with the winter rain, was nearly silent, as if holding its breath. And that was when he heard it. A low, rasping breath that did not belong to him. And then a whisper, floating through the mist like a dying ember. Emrys. The sound brushed the back of his neck. He spun around, heart pounding, searching for lantern light or passing traveller, but the bridge was empty. The whisper came again, closer this time. Emrys. A shape moved at the far end of the bridge, forming slowly from the mist itself. A tall, crooked silhouette, a long, dragging wing, then another. With every second the fog peeled back like a veil, revealing gaunt limbs, a pale face, hair long and wild. The Grachi ribbon. Her black eyes locked on his. Her mouth stretched into a soundless wail before the real one tore from her throat, high, mournful, and ancient, carrying the chill of centuries. Emrys stumbled backward, hand gripping the wooden rail to keep him from falling. Please, please, not me. But the hag did not reach for him. Instead, she lifted one long, taloned finger and pointed down the valley toward the cluster of cottages. Only one window glowed gold in the darkness, his mother's. Emrys felt cold sink into his bones. He didn't wait for another cry. He turned and sprinted, his breath tearing in his chest, the hag's shriek echoing behind him across field and stone. When he reached the cottage, the lantern had gone out, the door sat ajar, and inside all was still. Behind him, far off in the mist, the hag's wail faded into silence. Her warning had been delivered. Maeve O'Sullivan always said she loved the night air on the moor, smell of wet earth and heather, and the wind sang soft through the hawthorn trees. But on this night, the familiar path home felt stretched somehow, longer, darker, listening. She'd stayed too late helping her aunt, and now the moon sat low and pale like a silver bruise. Maeve quickened her pace. That was when she heard it. A sound so faint she almost mistook it for the wind. A soft, keening, lonely, fragile, like someone mourning far across the hills. She stopped, and the moor held its breath. Her grandmother's voice returned to her, as clear as the night she'd first heard it. If you ever hear the keening girl, someone dear to you is marked, and if you find a silver comb on the road, leave it be. Maeve swallowed and walked on, but just a few steps later, something glistened by her foot. A comb. Silver, ornate, its teeth catching the moonlight like frost. Her breath hitched. Part of her wanted to run, another part, curious, foolish, wanted to lift it and feel its weight. She crouched, reached out a trembling hand. A wail behind her erupted, filling the night like a rising storm. Maeve spun. A woman stood beneath a hawthorn branch, tall, slender hair long and grey as winter rain. Her face shimmered with grief. Her dress flowed as though under water, though the air was still. The Banshee. She did not advance. Instead, she lifted a ghost, pale hand toward the comb, her expression pleading, desperate, begging Maeve not to take what was meant for mortal hands. Maeve withdrew her hand at once. Her voice shook. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean..." The Banshee's cry softened into a sad hum, almost grateful. She floated forward without touching the ground and reached for the comb, not grasping it, but drawing it upward as if the air itself obeyed her. Then, with a shimmer, she dissolved into drifting mist that blew away across the moor. Silence returned. Maeve ran the rest of the path, her pulse hammering, and when she burst into her home, she found her father awake by the fire, tears on his cheeks. "There's word from the village," he said. "Your Uncle Seamus fell ill tonight. They don't expect him to last till dawn." May felt the Banshee's mournful hum echo in her chest, and knew her family had been warned long before the message arrived. The people of Orkney often said you could smell the Nuckelavee before you ever saw it. Tam MacLean never believed such tales until he'd night learned better. He'd lingered too long with a friend, sharing stories by the fire, and now the path home wound across the lonely coastline. The moon was bright, and the waves were calm. A harmless walk, he told himself, nothing more. But halfway along the cliffs the air shifted. The breeze died. The smell came sour, burning, foul, like rotten kelp mixed with smoke from a peat fire left too long and banked. It crept into his throat, thick and choking. The horses in a nearby field snorted, pawed the ground and bolted in terror. Tom froze. "No," he whispered. "Not that, anything but that." Then came the hoofbeats. Slow, wet, uneven. Not like a real horse, more like something dragging itself as it moved. Tom didn't dare turn around. Instead, he ran, feet pounding the path, eyes locked on the narrow stone bridge ahead. The burn beneath it was small, but the water ran fast, bright under the moon. He prayed it'd be enough. The hoofbeats grew louder, closer. The ground trembled beneath him. A shrill, rasping breath sounded beneath him. He risked a glance and wished he hadn't. A monstrous horse shape surged from the darkness, glistening red where skin should have been. Muscles gleamed raw, veins pulsed in the moonlight. Fused to its back was a man's distorted torso, too long, too thin, its arms scraping the ground. Its single glaring eye glowed with hatred. The Nuckelavee. Tom's leg burned. His legs seized, but fear drove him on. The bridge was only a few steps away, so he pushed harder. 10 steps, 6, 3. He leapt across the running water. The creature skidded to a halt at the edge, rearing back with a scream so furious it shook the stones. Droplets of water from the burn splashed its hooves, and where they touched, the beast's flesh smoked and hissed. It shrieked again, rage, frustration, hunger denied, before retreating into the night, leaving the stench of rot hanging heavy in the air. Tam collapsed on the far bank, shaking, whispering a prayer of thanks. He never walked the coastal path after dark again.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's tales of Celtic folklore from three corners of the Isles, Cymru, Eire and Alba. A warning in the mist, a wail in the heather, and a skinless nightmare stalking the shores at night. Folklore doesn't stick around because they are nice stories. It sticks around because someone, somewhere, swore they saw something they couldn't explain. And their fear was real and proof enough. Whether you believe any of this or not, well, if you ever hear your name whispered in the fog, or find something gleaming on a lonely path, or smell rot where there shouldn't be any, you'll remember these stories, and you won't want to stop running.
Basilisk. Basilisk is a potent reptilian beast, about 6 feet tall. Crawls on its 4 legs until it rears up to strike. When it stands on its 2 hind legs and expands its chest into a concave expanse, enabling its armored scales to slide to side and reveal its poison glands. The poison is, without doubt, the most deadly in the crypto kingdom. There have been claims of an antidote composed half of virgin blood and half of mercury. The antidote's composition is as ridiculous as its purpose. The poison kills within moments, causing the veins to rise out of the skin and burst, the stomach and other internal organs to liquefy and evacuate by the mouth and nostrils. Unfortunately, the basilisk is invulnerable to conventional harm or its pursuing and grounded state. When ready to attack, however, high-pitched noises will split the creature's scales, ensuring a fair fight. Tradition suggests fooling a rooster to crow when it's exposed. Nowadays, a portable device can produce a high-pitched tone with far less work required. Do not attempt close combat. The poison glands of the beast spill open when split. Projectiles are an absolute necessity in slaying the creature. Once it has been killed, immolate its corpse. The fumes that result allow some to see future events before they occur.